There have already been a ton of moments in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs, but you know who has not missed one bit? Matthew Russell Lee, the guy who posts real-time updates from court as inner city press. You probably have been following his posts. In a trial with no cameras, Matthew is there. So not only do we want to know what it's like to be one of the main sources of up-to-date information on the case, but who better to get some insight on the trial, the evidence, and who may be winning. That's why we're going to bring on the man himself. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Sean P. Diddy Combs snapped in court. Y'all, and it's Cassie Ventura and Justin Bieber who are out here dragging him hard with receipts you won't believe. Today we break down the biggest courtroom moments and expert opinions saying the prosecution kind of blew it. The charges? Heavy stuff. Racketeering, sex trafficking, forced labor. No cameras in the courtroom, but insiders reveal secret freak-off tapes only jurors get to see. This evidence could change everything.
He's also facing charges there, allegations that Combs used lies and drugs and threats and violence to force and coerce victims or alleged victims like Cassandra Ventura Fine and others into sex acts against their will. So from jury selection to opening statements to the testimony of Cassie to an alleged male performer who purportedly participated in freak-offs with Combs and Cassie to a former friend to a former Combs band member to a former assistant to a security guard, we have been bringing you daily updates for this trial. But the problem is, there are no cameras in that courtroom. There is no audio equipment in that courtroom. So we have been doing our best to try to relay to you as much detail as possible. And one of the reasons that we've been able to do that is because of our next guest. There is somebody who has not only been in that courtroom every day, but who live tweets, live posts on X in real time as the trial progresses, each moment. Somebody that we have definitely looked to for quick updates on this case. This guy is a legend. I'm talking about Matthew Russell Lee, but you may know him from his account, Inner City Press. Seriously, check him out on X. Has over 350,000 followers. What a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming here on Sidebar, and thank you so much for the work that you've been doing day in and day out.
Thanks a lot. I'm glad to be on. It's really fun. I cover a lot of different cases, but everyone, this case is like extremely hype. But then in the middle of it, I went upstairs to another RICO case where there are 27 defendants. All of the family members are in the courtroom, but there's no press at all. Right. And these people are facing, two of them face the death penalty. So it's sort of a tale of two legal systems. Yeah,
and to be clear, you cover a ton of different federal trials, and it's one of the reasons you have this particular access to the Diddy trial and actually the ability to transcribe what's happening. And by the way, your notes, phenomenal, because I actually match your notes up to the transcript that we get at the end of the day. It's almost verbatim. So, I don't know if you realize this, but you are somebody who not only knows the ins and outs of this case, but one of the reasons I'm so happy to have you to talk about this, but so many people are relying on you for updates in this case. Your posts, your X tweets, whatever you want to call them, posts, I don't even know. They are reprinted and are republished on social media constantly. What is it like just for you to be at the center of this where so many people are relying on you?
Cassie Ventura's testimony absolutely shook the courtroom to its core. There she was, visibly pregnant, carrying not just a child, but the weight of her painful past, standing strong yet emotional as she laid bare the brutal truth behind the scenes. She didn't just talk about vague allegations. She detailed chilling moments of abuse and coercion that went on in what should have been safe spaces. Her voice cracked under the pressure, but her words were sharp and undeniable. The courtroom fell silent as she recounted times when control was enforced through fear, manipulation, and violence. Cassie's story wasn't just a testimony. It was a powerful indictment that exposed the dark, hidden reality lurking behind the glamour and glitz of the music empire. Now here's the twist. Justin Bieber's testimony inside the courtroom was low-key explosive. He revealed feeling uncomfortable at Diddy's parties and dropped the line, "I wasn't the only one," visibly rattling Diddy.
Is a woman called Alexandra Shapiro. She's like an appellate specialist. She represents Sam Bankman-Fried on his appeal. And she wrote this kind of kick filing saying that the Mann Act is racist, saying that it was initially enacted for Jack Johnson, the boxer, for whom Miles Davis wrote a record. So I anticipate in closing, probably it'll be Agnifilo doing the closing. Maybe it should be Ryan Steele or Nicole Westmoreland. It's not for me to say. But I can imagine that argument being made. A jury can't throw a statute out. but I think they're going to try to, I agree that that's a very strong, it seems like a slam dunk count. But if you can get somebody on the jury saying, wait a second, this was like a black superstar and you're trying to like take him down by using an old statute they used against Jack Johnson, it only takes one, you know?
I think they were trying to say in their opening statement he paid for these people for their time and experience and not necessarily prostitution, which I'm sorry, that feels a little bit like a stretch to me, but totally. It's a tough charge. You look, I think we can both agree a lot of this comes down to Cassandra Ventura Fine and her testimony and what the jury makes of it. From watching all of it and the cross-examination, she was on the stand for several days, a lot of evidence, a lot of messages. Does it seem to you that it favors more her as an alleged victim or a willing participant? What did you make of her testimony at the end of the day?
I think
right
you can
now,
be
a lot
both.
of it.
Yeah, I think you can be both. I think there's no question that they showed with the text messages that for much of it, she was not only a participant, she was the organizer. She was the one making the calls and buying the supplies. I think she was a very compelling witness. I think her sort of, and I'm not saying that she chose that approach, but she was very factual. A few times she got emotional, but it was really depressing what she was saying. She wasn't proud to be saying it. I don't think they were able to make people feel that she was in it for the money. She's already gotten paid. I mean, I think that also makes a big difference. Like, what's in it for her? Other than you could say she's being vindictive, but I think she was a very compelling witness. Now, this is, again, just looking at it as a battle. I don't think their approach to cross-examining her was the best one. I've seen the Ana Maria Estevao in other cases. She's a good lawyer, but the approach was too scattershot and reading text messages. I honestly think if they'd gone with this Nicole Westmoreland approach that they took to Don Richard, I don't know how it would have worked out. Because, with Don Richard, they basically said, as you saw, you're lying. You gave 8 versions of this. You're a liar. And they never came right. Maybe if they thought if they tried that with Cassie, it would just blow up in their face and she was very sympathetic.
They argue that just because Diddy's personality is intense and demanding, that doesn't automatically make him a criminal. The truth is, this case is far from a guaranteed win for the prosecution. It's complicated, messy, and the jury still has a lot to unpack before any slam dunk verdict can be reached. The drama doesn't stop inside the courtroom. Justin Bieber's public distancing from Usher, who's been a longtime close ally of Diddy, is sending shockwaves through the industry.
No, I hear you. I hear it because they basically have to persuade this jury that he is this leader of a criminal enterprise that was engaged in a pattern of criminal activity, including the systematic exploitation and abuse of women over a period of time. We're still in the beginning stages. It's going to be an 8-week trial, but I hear your reservations and concerns with the prosecution's case. I did think James was interesting when he recounted this alleged conversation that he had with Cassandra Ventura, where she allegedly said, man, this lifestyle's crazy. He suggested, why don't you leave? And she says, I can't get out. She told him that Combs controlled her music career, paid for her apartment, gave her an allowance. That's also similar to testimony that we heard from another witness as well. Do you think that has been articulated well? Because I know that the defense has said this is just a relationship built on jealousy and anger, and he was trying to help her career. But do you think the idea that she couldn't easily leave the grasp of Sean Combs, do you think that has been properly articulated?
I think that they're on much weaker ground when they say things like, he didn't put my records out. I don't mean to say sorry, too bad. It doesn't feel like coercion.
The entire music world is watching, waiting, and liking every jaw-dropping moment. The verdict is still pending, but one thing's clear. The impact of this case is undeniable. And the internet is clapping hard for the truth to come out. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on exclusive and explosive updates. Your support means everything to us, so smash that button and stay tuned.